Randy has told you a little bit about me through my bio, but I'd like to tell you a little bit more in detail. I am the son of Horst Friedrich and Helga Winter. Now, Horst and Helga grew up in Germany during the Depression. Now, the Depression wasn't just an American thing. So if you ask Horst and Helga what life was like in the 30s when they grew up in Germany, they would tell you that they never really knew where their next meal was coming from, that they would stand in line for hours for a loaf of bread, that sort of stuff. And for most of us, you know, that sort of lifestyle is almost impossible to comprehend. I mean, imagine living a life where you had no food. I mean, it doesn't even really sound real to us. So Horst lived in the eastern part of Germany, in a town called Leipzig. And of course, when the Second World War came along, they had to deal with that. So Horst was the only living survivor of his family. His mother had polio. She was in a hospital that was bombed. They never really found any remains. His father wasn't a real healthy guy. He smoked a lot and pretty much drank himself to death. His younger brother, not being able to deal with it all, decided that he would end his life by hanging himself. So that left Horst with the alternative to escape from East Germany under Russian occupation after the war, in the middle of the night, under the fence, and into Dusseldorf for a couple of years, where he took a boat in 1950 to Canada. Helga grew up in the western part of Germany, in a little town on the Polish border. And Poland at that time was under German occupation, but when the Allies invaded Poland, they evacuated her small town. They put her, her mother, her sister, and her two brothers on a train. No possessions, no suitcase. They left their home and all their belongings behind, all the way to a small town in Bavaria called Regensburg, where they got word that her father, who was an officer in the military, was shot in the head by a sniper. Now, Horst and Helga didn't know each other. Horst was in Canada, Helga was in Bavaria. They had a mutual acquaintance that introduced them, so through letters and pictures by mail, they created a relationship, at which time in 1955, Helga flew to Canada to marry Horst, and they had never, ever met before. So, I am the byproduct of that union. So in my life, I've done a lot of really cool things. I was a paper boy. I delivered 54 papers to 54 houses in a canvas bag on my bike for $4 a week. I was a camp counselor. I made $120 for the entire summer. I was a lifeguard. That was a high-paying job, $6 an hour. I was really rolling in the dough there. I was a painter. I got hired by the Holiday Inn, and I painted every room in that entire hotel. The maintenance manager loved me. I was a wood chopper. I was in this wood yard filled with logs in a state park where I had to split all these logs and give split wood to the campers who built their nice fires. I was a pizza delivery boy. I was really good at that. This was back in the days when you had to deliver the pizza within 30 minutes or it was free. Now, being the badass that I was, I'd take 2, 3, sometimes 4 pizzas, and I delivered all of those within 30 minutes. I made a lot of money. Sometimes I'd make $100 a night, but I spent it all on new tires. I was also a lawn service technician. That's a fancy word for a guy who pushed a lawnmower and cut grass. I did that while I was in college. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I went to school Monday through Thursday. I was a miner. I grew up in a mining town in northern Ontario. Great job, $9 an hour, had to join the union. And all the mess that was left in the tunnels, it was 6,000 feet below the surface, the students were hired to clean up. I was a residential construction worker, did a lot of work on houses. I was a construction superintendent for a very large construction company. And I was an owner of a company called Normar Contracting. This is a partnership I had with a college buddy of mine. We both graduated as civil engineers and started our own contracting company. So, why am I telling you all of this personal stuff about myself? Well, I'm telling you this because I think it's important for you to know who baby boomers are. We are a byproduct of the Second World War. Now, our parents weren't able to really teach us a whole lot about life because their lives were dominated by hardship. And in some cases, like my mother and father, a lot of tragedy. But what they did instill in us were 3 really important things that you need to know about. We have a tremendous work ethic. We have a keen sense of survival, and we have an uncanny ability to manage adversity. So we do not shy away from conflict. We like it. So in general, who are we? We're born between 1946 and 1964. There's approximately 77 million of us. 46% of us have attended college. We are seated at the top of the world's largest corporations. We comprise over 70% of all law firm partners. We have tremendous buying power. We have lots of money and we spend it foolishly. We are revolutionary. I can't even tell you what we've seen in our lifetime. When we got our first push-button phone, we got rid of the old rotary dial phone. That was awesome. When we got our first color TV, because we always had a black and white TV, 3 channels, when it rained, 2 channels. And when I was in high school and the electronic calculator came out, man, that was crazy shit. We couldn't believe they could pack so much intelligence in that little thing. In fact, the school board was looking at banning them from the schools because they thought it was cheating, that we wouldn't be learning our math. And now you have elementary school kids bringing their smartphones to school. Crazy. So we are worker bees. We live to work. We're independent doers who thrive on action. We need action. And we are the primary architects of the current social, political, and economic fabric of our country, like it or not. You can either blame us or hate us. We're responsible for what you have today. And we are the greatest generation of all time, and you have to follow in those footsteps. So, who are you? You are born between 1980 and 2004. There's approximately 92 million of you. 61% of you have attended college. You do not trust large corporations, and you struggle to find meaningful jobs. You want to make a difference. 40% of all the unemployed in this country are you, millennials. Now, don't take that too hard, because there's a lot of you. You, unlike us, you exhibit great money-saving behavior. You are thrifty people. You really are, not like us. You are shaped by technology. We saw it emerge. You are it. You were born into it. You work to live. We live to work. You work to live. I can see this getting a little edgy already. You're freelancers. You don't like that 9-to-5 grind like us. In fact, for most of us in this industry, it's not 9 to 5. It's way more than that. But the good news is you are poised to reshape the political, economical, and social landscape of our country. It's yours now, man. I know we might have screwed it up. You're stuck with it, so fix it. And you are the largest generation of all time. Now, don't pat yourself on the back, because you know who had something to do with that? That's right. Apparently, we're good at other things besides working all the time. All right, so what's the deal? We think that you are easily distracted and lack discipline, focus, and commitment. How do you like them apples? You think we are sexist, defensive, insensitive, resistant to change, and we lack creativity. Now that would really piss me off if it wasn't so true. The problem is this kind of stereotyping causes 1 in every 3 workers to waste about 5 hours per week on intergenerational conflicts. It tires me out just to say that. 5 hours per week to us, the worker bees, is a waste of money. So, what should you do? Be a proficient communicator. We need you to communicate. Manage your dependence on remote forms of communication. We know everybody has smartphones. We have them too. In fact, we not only like them, we think everybody needs it. We just want you to not be so dependent on it. There are other forms of communication. We are impressed with good interpersonal skills. We like it when you can talk to us and communicate intelligently. Use those skills to speak up when you have something to contribute. Don't shut down at the first sign of conflict. You don't like conflict. We thrive on it. We like it because we know how to manage it. You don't like it. In a collaborative working environment, strong communication skills are essential for successful teamwork. Now, if anything is a collaborative environment, this industry you're about to embark on is totally collaborative. You need to learn to communicate properly. All right, communicate with facts. Stick to the facts and not what you think. Nobody cares what you think. We want facts. All right, once you've stated the facts as you see them, you've hit the hazardous half-minute zone. Do you know what that is? It means you have 30 seconds to make your case and turn it from a monologue into a dialogue. We don't need a speech. We've heard it before. We had parents too, remember? We want dialogue, a two-way conversation. Be as specific as possible and get to the point. If it's drawn out, you're going to lose us. All right, don't criticize. Don't lead with judgments about others or assumptions about certain behavior. Yes, we're old, but we're not stupid. Don't forget who's in control of all the money. But we need you. That's a fact. We need you. So don't judge us. We won't judge you. Begin by clarifying your respect as well as your intent to achieve mutual goals. That's a good one. Excuse me, Mr. Friedrich. I've been an admirer of the company that you've created here, and that's one of the reasons why I've wanted to work here for so long. But I have some ideas that I think might help. That's the type of stuff we want to hear. Be obvious about your motives and ask if you can share your ideas. You don't go around saying they should do it differently, they should do it this way. You want to share your ideas. All right, invite a response. After sharing your ideas or concerns, encourage a response. This is called dialogue, right? This is where it goes back and forth and we speak intelligently to each other. Inviting dialogue will always result in greater openness and understanding. We will open ourselves up to you in a very deep way, just like I did earlier, if you invite that dialogue. All right, listen and learn from those responses. Take notes. You cannot possibly remember everything that goes on when we have a dialogue. Take notes. It can be on your device, but take notes because we know you might think you have more space up here than we do, but we know you have digital overload. So we know your computer is pretty full as well. Take notes. All right, so my final slide, all right? I did a little research on you, and apparently I have found some common ground between us. Apparently millennials like to drink. This is so cool, and if you look down here, you'll see Minnesota is 6th in the country. Woohoo! Minnesotans are 6th when it comes to alcohol consumption amongst millennials. So now that we have finally found something that we have in common, I'd like to invite you all out for a drink. Thank you very much. Cheers.